How's it going, everyone? Got a ton of PlayStation news and updates to go over in this video. A lot of news around Grand Theft Auto 6, and this is a game that potentially will be avoiding a physical release, and you know, as much as I love my physical games, this makes a lot of sense from a bunch of different angles. We'll talk all about that. Watch Dogs is a franchise. Don't be expecting that to be coming back anytime soon. But first of all, it looks like Grand Theft Auto 6's physical edition may be delayed outside of when the game launches digitally to prevent leaks. This is coming from ppe.pl, and that's the same source that leaked Microsoft Flight Sim on PlayStation 5 prior to its official reveal. Sad news has reached the ppe.pl editorial team from a trusted source. The leaker who previously revealed Microsoft Flight Sim, our source who is involved in physical game distribution in Europe, informed us that Take-Two, the publisher of Grand Theft Auto 6, is currently not planning a boxed edition for Grand Theft Auto 6, at least not for the initial launch, specifically to prevent potential story spoilers or early gameplay footage from leaking. According to initial unconfirmed reports, GTA 6 will first debut as a digital-only release on consoles with a physical release following at a later date. The informant is currently unsure whether this will happen a few weeks after the launch or as late as the first half of 2027. We are getting more and more information that the box version will not be released together with the digital version to prevent leaks. We are getting conflicting information, with some saying that the box version will be released 3 to 4 weeks after the digital launch, while others say it won't happen until early 27. More information will be available mid-February. Look, you guys know me, I've been on my physical games kick, but this is one that I actually do understand from a lot of different angles. First of all, let's talk about it from a financial standpoint. Yes, we can talk about avoiding leaks all we want. However, from a financial standpoint, I'm sure Rockstar would prefer to sell the bulk of Grand Theft Auto 6 digitally so they can collect a larger share of the revenue. I'm sure Rockstar and Take-Two have a different agreement than a lot of other publishers with Sony. I don't know exactly how that is structured, whether it be 30%, whether it be 20% that they're giving up to Sony for GTA 6. Digital releases will still let them keep the lion's share of the money, and you're talking about a game that'll potentially be $80. You're talking about a game that potentially will have $100, $120, $130, $150 Ultimate Edition, especially if they're baking in GTA Online stuff. Could they be doing fake early access with it as well? I don't know about that one. I don't think fake early access is something that, based on Rockstar seemingly wanting a unified launch without any sort of leaks, I feel like they're gonna go the route of not doing fake early access, but somehow incentivizing people to buy the $100, $120 edition. Maybe they'll do fake early access, but I think Rockstar and Take-Two are gonna approach it from the angle of, we want everybody to jump in on this game at the same time with no spoilers. And if you do a structured release of there being fake early access, then a bunch of people will be buying the game with the fake early access, streaming the game, and then spoilers will get out for people that are looking to just spend the $80 or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I don't think Rockstar wants to do that. Obviously, there's also the standpoint of avoiding spoilers, because GTA 6 is going to be a monster release. Absolutely, once physical copies are in circulation, spoilers are gonna get out. Gameplay is gonna get out. That is going to be unavoidable for a game at this magnitude and at this scale. It's just going to happen. Otherwise, the only way, if there isn't a physical release, that gameplay would be getting leaked would be some disaster, like somebody getting an early copy of the game that's for review and them leaking information, which nobody is going to put themselves in a position to do that. That's just a disaster situation. And I can understand from several different angles, you know, wanting to generate as much of the revenue that you can collect yourself for Rockstar, and on top of that, avoiding spoilers, avoiding leaks. That just makes a lot of sense to me. And for most people, if you do care about the physical release, you'll get that sometime down the line. And there is even the argument to be made that this is such a big game that you guys know what I'm going with this. There will be people that buy the game digitally to play it day one, and then they'll double dip on the game physically, and then they'll triple dip on the game when it comes out on PC. Look, Rockstar knows what they're doing in terms of monetizing the same game over and over again. There's really nobody that doesn't like Rockstar. I give Bethesda a lot of credit with Skyrim, monetizing the same game ad nauseum. Rockstar is a different breed, considering they never put out new games, but they have a good pipeline of just re-releasing the same games over and over again. So it is what it is as far as that's concerned, but I can understand it. Let's just hope GTA 6 actually drops by the end of the year, which at this point still seems to be a bit of an uncertainty. All right, from one open world franchise that's a juggernaut to another open world franchise that I think a lot of people were expecting it to develop into a juggernaut is Watch Dogs. Tom Henderson did note that Watch Dogs as a franchise, when talking about the Ubisoft situation, is completely dead. And you know what? I am not too surprised about that, but it is still a little bit unfortunate. If you guys were around 2012, I want to say it was, when Watch Dogs was initially revealed. It didn't come out until May of 2014, but at that point in time, Ubisoft still had a good amount of goodwill. Assassin's Creed was really firing on all cylinders. Assassin's Creed 2, the Ezio trilogy, had just wrapped up prior to the reveal of Watch Dogs. I want to say Watch Dogs was revealed in 2012. And Ubisoft was still riding fairly high, and when Watch Dogs initially got revealed, this open world title with a hacking emphasis, it was incredibly unique. And at that point in time, again, Ubisoft was well known for Assassin's Creed, and I think a lot of people viewed Watch Dogs to be, okay, they're gonna get another massive open world IP. Not to mention, Far Cry was still at a high. Like, Far Cry 3 came out in late 2012, but all of those factors together, like, Ubisoft was really doing a lot of great work when Watch Dogs was initially revealed, and then ultimately when the game came out, I think a lot of people were disappointed by it. I don't think it was a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a little disappointing given that expectations were so high. Watch Dogs 2, I actually thought was a better game than Watch Dogs 1, much like what Assassin's Creed 2 did for Assassin's Creed, where AC1 was a little bit disappointing, but AC2 went back to the drawing board a little bit and refined a lot of things. I really feel like Watch Dogs 2 did that. However, Assassin's Creed 2 was a significant commercial success. Watch Dogs 2, I feel like, didn't redirect the attention of the franchise and didn't put the franchise back in a good spotlight. And then ultimately Watch Dogs Legion came out, and that game did not do very well commercially either, so it's just interesting how the road Watch Dogs took. But if you remember when Watch Dogs 1 was initially revealed, the hype and the excitement around that game leading up to its release, it was extremely high. I think a lot of people forget about just how hyped people were for Watch Dogs, and ultimately it didn't become the franchise that a lot of us expected it to be. But, you know, these things happen in the gaming world, but Ubisoft's got a lot more to consider right now, and Watch Dogs being benched as a franchise, it being completely dead, whatever the case may be, that's not that surprising to me, given that Watch Dogs at this point to do a new game would be a massive undertaking, and I don't know if you can really monetize Watch Dogs for the long term like you can Assassin's Creed. I don't think Watch Dogs is this IP you can create spin-off titles of. Like, it is what it is, and I can understand why that investment isn't there for Watch Dogs. You know, and I also understand, based on where Ubisoft is going, why that investment isn't there for Prince of Persia. Although Sands of Time Remake, I just feel like they should have put that game out, given that I imagine that game was towards the end of development, like one would think, but it is what it is. Watch Dogs is a franchise seemingly completely dead, kind of two opposite sides of the coin when it comes to open world franchises in GTA and Watch Dogs. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, interesting news about Grand Theft Auto 6. You know, it's not the greatest news in the world, but I totally get why Rockstar and Take-Two are gonna go that direction. And Watch Dogs as a franchise is seemingly dead at the very least. It's probably gonna be benched for a long time. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.